Hey everybody, it's Marty the JavaScript Party. It is Sunday, the 7th of December. Supposedly 44 degrees out there. So that's awesome. I've definitely gotten used to it. I'm going to try to make this a quick one, mostly because I've got some stuff going on. But I wanted to mention one thing is someone did make a comment a couple days ago. So it's not obvious when I have a comment, right? Like nothing pops up. I may get like an email in like a week or two about comments. And so if you make a comment and I don't respond, it's because I haven't seen it. That's the only reason. I'm definitely happy to respond to any comments. The person said, "Hey, what are you doing? Coding is dead," and it's just like, yeah, maybe it is. I don't think so, but it's possible. But even if it was, I would still code. I don't code because for my living. I mean, I get paid to code, which is the luckiest thing in the world. But I code because I enjoy coding. And just like I usually solve a Rubik's cube 2, 3, 4 times a day, sometimes 10 times in a day, sometimes 30 times in a day. But it's just something I enjoy doing. It's weird. It's really weird that that kind of people don't really, really they how people see coding. Like coding is like they see it like as a profession, not as a sort of a mentally healthy way to keep your brain alive and happy and a nice way to spend some time. Like so. I don't know. So yeah, I've always said I don't think there's an interview that I haven't looked whoever was interviewing me in the eye and said I was coding before you could make money coding, and I'll be coding, and if you can't make money coding anymore, I'll still be coding because I code because I enjoy coding. So that answers that. And then also yesterday somebody gave a thumbs down on one of my videos, which is cool. I get that. I try really hard to not spend, like, I used to kind of obsess whenever I get a down video. I would say that down thumbs, from what I could tell, like if somebody doesn't like it, it actually means you're on the right track. Like, like, like there's like sort of something being just completely inert, and you're trying to do stuff, and then you're like, it's irrelevant. It's not relevant. But then there's also like you do stuff and then it's not irrelevant, but people don't like it. I think that's closer to doing stuff that matters than doing stuff that nobody notices at all. Like, so if someone doesn't like it, I mean, as long as you're not like being like just insanely offensive or something like that, like, and purposefully offensive, I guess, not like if you're setting out to offend people. Like if you offend people by accident, that's a different thing. But anyway, so I redid the way we do IDs, and I think what is happening is I'm starting to really get highly. I'm starting to really wonder, I think, and starting to really think that I need to be able to see the state of the various visualizations in a more of a tabular data way, not just as an object in the screen. And so that is what's happening here. So I added this generate ID. I think the next step is going to be to add a function that lets you take an ID and attach a ST object to it. I also think there'll be one that is going to be like, I think I'll also need to attach other objects to it, which is an idea that didn't really hit me, but an ID, an STID will also be associated with ThreeJS objects. And the thing is one STID can be attached to more than one ThreeJS object. So I'm going to focus on associating a ST object. Associate ST object to ID. So I don't really like the fact that um, I don't really like the fact that I don't really want this thing to even know the concept of STs and stuff uh, and stuff, but I think it has to. Unfortunately, it'd be nice if it could just be like very generic and not know, but I think it's gonna have to know. Oh, okay, this is like an object, and I don't think you can have more than one ST object per ID, but you can't have more than one three object per ST ID. So, um, and then basically right now in our sequence dictionary we've defined which objects can be assigned. And so we are going to have to kind of make this a type and then tell it that it can be um, so export type sequence ST types. And I think you just say equals and then like this. So these are the things. So basically when we do add the three concept, we're going to end up, I don't know, we'll either have multiple dictionaries or we'll have or we'll make this an object that has like ST and then these types. But now I think I can just say sequence ST types. So this is purely a TypeScript concept. It has absolutely no actual, as far as I know, it has absolutely no actual relationship with the JavaScript. It just kind of helps the IDE know what's going to happen or know what to accept, and and to help with like throwing errors and all that. So it's an ST type, and it's ST sequence type, and we need to import it. And so that imported it from the base dictionaries. Now I'm just going to say return true. Now I'm going to say updated. Let updated equals false, and we're going to return updated. Now this one is definitely going to trigger. I'm pretty sure this one's going to end up triggering new unit tests to be written, and probably not any new end-to-end tests, but we do want to make sure the end-to-end tests pass. So basically what we're going to say is, and I guess we want to do this. And I want to name this STID. We are going to start having other kinds of like ThreeJS IDs and who the heck else knows what else. Okay, so if we have it, then it got updated. So I'm going to change updated to true. And we are going to take it and we are going to update the ID with the ST type. And so this could be a bit problem, make it a little bit harder on for unit tests, so it might be better to kind of create like another function. So it'll be easier to write unit tests that basically sets the type. And make this like what you would call a pure object, Boolean. And what it will accept is the dictionary So doing this makes like unit tests so much easier um, because you can pass in the dictionary. I believe, I'm pretty sure this makes life easier. And not only that, but it actually sends the actual dictionary. It updates the dictionary, so we don't really itself. And then ID, which is a number. And then a the ST type, and that is an ST type, a sequence type. All right, and so basically this is a pure function that will accept everything it needs to do its job, but which makes it much easier to write a unit test. And I'm going to call this one updated as well. Equals false. And then this guy we're going to just say if sequence dictionary. So so basically it's just a lot easier to like we can call this and pass it everything it needs, and so we don't have to like update this or anything like that to get the code coverage. If sequence property, then basically this exec. We're just taking all of this code and then we're returning updated. I might do this from time to time. I'll call something a constant when I really want it to be a variable. And then over here, now we can just call it directly and handle any of the flow control stuff inside of this pure function. I don't really like doing flow control that isn't like 100% going to happen with anything that has access to, with anything that's trying to touch the service or the component attributes. I want it, if it's going to have flow control, I want it to be in a function that accepts a pure function, a function that has everything that it needs to accept anything. So we definitely want to get rid of this here, and we want to get rid of this there. Now, oddly enough, this will actually update the existing sequence directory, because basically we will have two we'll have two references to that object, but this reference here will only live until this return is hit, and then it's marked. That reference can be deleted. I don't know exactly how that all happens behind the scenes, like start set type. Actually, I guess it makes me a little sad, that someone's like, coding's dead. All this can happen in an AI phrase. I can have it build all this stuff, because it's just like, it's like saying, like, let's say they shut down the NBA tomorrow. Like, there's no more professional basketball. All professional basketball's gone. Like, people would still play basketball. It's a bit disheartening that people kind of see it that way. That, like, it's just, I don't know, like, I think there's stuff that, I don't know, that, like you can have a job, you could climb up on power lines, and so then when there's like hurricanes and power lines get knocked down, you can climb up and you could fix power lines so that people get electricity, and you might do it because you just like helping people. You might do it because you like the adventure of it, like you're just a very adventurous person and you want to do that. Like, You might do it just because you like climbing on things. There's a lot of reasons you might do it, but just because it was no longer a job anymore doesn't mean that you would stop doing it. Um, so I just don't even know what to think. Okay, so now this becomes, I guess this is a const. And really we can just say return. We know we're going to get a true. But this line of code, like literally all we have to do is call this function and we'll get 100% coverage in the unit test. We won't really have to do anything. And then when we call this function, we can pass in our own sequence dictionary, and then it can handle this flow control without us having to like set things on the like in the attribute, the service attribute. So anyways, that will definitely save time in the doing it like this will save a lot of time when we hit the unit test phase. And I don't even know if we'll even need to do any special unit testing, because this will most assuredly get called with the first implementation. So anyways, tomorrow basically I'm going to, probably for the camera, go ahead and when I create the camera, I'll once the object is created, I'll send that. I'll use this function to do that, and then it all gets deleted as soon as that happens. And like I said, this whole thing will eventually become, I'm guessing, I don't know for sure. If we need it, we might need to keep track of whatever ThreeJS elements or objects are associated with this ID. Maybe we won't. Maybe we won't have any need for that. So I think, yeah. But anyways, I do like this. I like the direction we're going in, and I like how we have this table now that's in our console log. So if we go like this, we get these tables that get printed out. I think that is cool. Back in the there was just this like couple years, like 2 or 3 years, where you could go to almost any website and you could go look in their console and see, like any professional website, and see like cool drawings and interesting information in the console log that was there for any. It was sort of a hidden place for technical people to be able to show things. So you come in here and you see like a dragon or an elephant or something, and they would draw it out like an ASCII art and stuff like that. It was really cool. And then there would be somewhere like, oh, there's like additional information if you look in the console, and they would even be like, yeah, if you go and look in the console if you want to know about XYZ or whatever. And that, so it was fun. It was a very fun, lighthearted kind of thing that's kind of gone today. It is, another funny thing is just like, I do think that just in general websites as a thing has left sort of the professional enterprise. There are enterprise websites, but for the most part, like a lot of people are moving away from websites and moving into just having applications like AI applications and stuff like that. Local, like the team I work on, probably our highest profile thing is the state's website, but we probably have 20 applications we work on, and like most of them aren't really related to being websites for people. They may have like a web front end sort of interaction thing, but it's not really, that's not the point of the whole thing. So so I do think like the web in general is becoming more of like a place for entertainment again, like it was in the beginning, and less of a place for business. Like entertainment and academia is where the web HTTP part of the World Wide Web is going. So I don't know. Like I said, I do this mostly for fun. I I think it is sad that like some people are like, oh yeah, there's no reason to code anymore because I can do an AI prompt and the AI will build out whatever I want. And it's just like, that's different. That's something totally different. Getting things, applications that you want built, like that's great. You know, like that's not really the same as programming though. Programming is more like puzzles and stuff like that, not applications. There's so much more that goes into building an application than just the coding. That like even if the AI can write out all your code for you, you I don't think that that is the biggest problem for organizations when they're writing software. Maybe they think that's the biggest problem. They're deluded though. Like if you can find plenty of people if you tell them exactly what you want built, exactly how you want things coded, they'll code it for you. That's not the problem. So the AI will code it for you too, but the problem most places have is they don't know exactly what they want, and they kind of need to be able to build it and then all that. So like AI will probably be really good for like prototyping, which like that, and it is funny because like everyone said, oh, when visuals, when what was it, visual, no, yeah, Visual Basic. When Visual Basic came out, everyone's just like, it builds these gigantic bloated programs, and it's going to be mostly like you sort of prototype an application with Visual Basic, and then you rewrite it in C Sharp or C++ plus plus or whatever it was. Visual C++, plus plus I think is what they had back then, because you're going to have this big bloated problem. Well, now I guess Visual Basic isn't even supported anymore, but it's like now it's the same thing. Like, yeah, the AI will kind of like build what you want, an application like what you want, but it's not. It's probably not going to work. You know what I mean? Like it'll build out, like it'll show you all kinds of great features and all that, but then when you actually try to do it, it's not going to work. It's just like at the end of my last project that I was working on in here, and I was like, okay, I'm going to deploy this, and we'll deploy it tomorrow. And it was just like all these little issues just cropped up, issues that some have been around forever, some are new, and things like that, And so, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I just don't know what to think about all that. But it is great to think about. I'm really happy that person wrote that, because it is something that's very interesting to think about. Anyway, so tomorrow I will try to use these new functions to at least get one of these, so that when we look in here, when we look at this thing, we'll have one that isn't a null, and then decide from there where to go. I'm guessing then we'll slowly start to grind through all of these, and then the idea will be like when we delete, I don't even know actually that's going to be very interesting. So when I delete, let's see, close this and then add viz. See, now I have 16. So I definitely, it did not delete any of those. It doesn't look like it. Probably reused them, all that. So anyways, there's all kinds of information that we're getting ready to do. And I think the next steps after we start getting information in here will really present themselves. And then that's what we'll do. Anyways, happy coding, everybody. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye.